So this is the College Credit Plus advising timesheet, or College Credit Plus timesheet in general. You'll notice that obviously you have your name and date. Now you notice this thing that says codes right here. If you go down below, what you'll see is there's a code for direct advising. That means true interaction with the student, advising prep. Perhaps we have a meeting with a student, getting their information around, things of that nature. College Credit Plus prep, just stuff we're doing for the program or for the pilot. Um, any meetings that we have, like we tentatively have a meeting set up with the guidance counselors at the high schools that are participating. So, that would count as that time. Any training, so banner training that we may be having, um, training in Argos perhaps, or whatever, would fall under that, or advising training in general. And then we have the miscellaneous column. Now I did put an asterisk next to the miscellaneous column. If we say miscellaneous, we need to explain why it doesn't fit into the other categories. So you'll see that I have a comment section up here, and that comment section is literally like, well, for saying, hey, we did this, which is kind of outside of the other categories that we see. Um, I did put a timetable on here as far as hours spent. I thought 5-minute increments would be acceptable. I also put the fraction equivalents, me being a math guy. Fractions are more precise, so I choose fractions over anything else. And then what will happen is it will total up based on the code we input, and the code needs to be in capitals in order for it to work. The reason I have it set up this way, and you'll notice that I have one timesheet here, and then I have the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. I have it set up very specifically this way because I created a macro. So at the end of the semester, that macro will gather all of the data from all of our timesheets and then compile it into a nice chart. Be able to do some analysis. Where do we spend the most time? Where do we spend the least time? Where can we be more efficient? And so on and so forth. So please, whatever you do, I have some equations buried in here. Do not modify this in any way. Just use it as is. So let's say I met with a student today. Today is 08. See, I should take a keyboarding class. Alright, so I met with a student today, and I did direct advising, and I met with them for an hour and 10 minutes. So, boom, it puts in the fraction equivalent. And you'll also notice down here, which I'll probably modify to take away all the decimals and all that good stuff, that it automatically calculates it. And then tomorrow I met with somebody, did direct advising, and I met with them for 2 hours and a half, 2.5 hours. Alright, it totals up. And then on the 13th, I did some paperwork, which I love. And I was getting ready for College Credit Plus, just doing some prep. And unfortunately, it took me 3 hours and 10 minutes because, yeah, I love paperwork. And this becomes a tracking system, and it will total up based on the code what you do. So we'll have totals here, and then let's say we run out of space here, we go on to the next sheet. It will then add it there, then go on to the next sheet, it'll add it there, so on, so on, so on. But it's very important for this project that we track our time. So this is probably the easiest way for us to track time. Make sure you put your name there. And the reason the name is important is not because we're trying to say, oh, this person did this and this person did more here, this more here. It actually will help us because perhaps Chris Higby doesn't spend as much time on the training. Well, why doesn't she? Well, perhaps she already knows it or has been trained otherwise or has found shortcuts. So all of this is about traceability and best practices and what we can do to make it better. So at the end of the fall semester, I'll be able to take all this with the macro and make a nice little report. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, just make everything as capitalized. Make sure that we understand what each one of these codes means, and we'll just go from there. All right.